some of the things you can buy for Christmas, but I'm afraid there's something you really can't buy, and that's real, proper, homemade mincemeat. Whatever you buy in the shops or wherever you buy it from, it's never actually the same. So I want to show you a recipe, and it's called Christmas mincemeat with a warning. And the warning is that once you've used it in your mince pies, you'll never be able to use anything else because it's so much better. But the good news is it's very easy to make. You start off weighing out all your ingredients and ticking them off on a piece of paper like we did with Christmas pudding. And what we've got in the bowl here are 12 ounces of raisins, 8 ounces of currants, and 8 ounces of sultanas. And we've also got 8 ounces of mixed peel, which is quite a high proportion. And I want to say something about mixed peel, because if you want to improve all your Christmas cooking overnight, what you can do is use whole candied peel, because it does actually taste a lot better than the ready chopped stuff. You need to have a bit more patience and spend a bit more time, but what you do is just take the candied peel and use a strong pair of scissors like this, cut it into strips, and then the strips into small pieces. I always like to make mincemeat when there's something good on the radio, because then I don't feel I have to rush and I can just snip up my peel and listen. Now the next ingredient is 8 ounces of shredded suet, which you can get from the supermarket in a packet, and that's followed by 12 ounces of sugar. That's soft brown sugar. Got my hands a bit sticky with the suet because it's been under the lights here, so I'll just give them a wipe. And the next ingredient is apples. A pound of apples, cooking apples, and these have been peeled and chopped. And then I've got some orange and lemon peel, 2 oranges, 2 lemons, the zest. And then we've got some slivered almonds, 2 ounces here. And if you cut them in slivers, it takes a bit longer than chopping them, but you get a nice crunchy texture to the mincemeat. Now the spices I'm using, it's quite a spicy mixture this, is 4 level tablespoons of mixed spice and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then some freshly grated nutmeg. And I haven't mentioned this before, but it is very important to Christmas cooking. You've got to use nutmeg always freshly grated, because if you buy the ready grated stuff, it just loses all its fragrance very, very quickly. And this is going to be about half a nutmeg grated straight in. Then I've got the lemon and the orange juice, which the peel came from, so that's going to go in next. And now you just go in with your wooden spoon and have a really good stir, a good old Christmas stir once more. And what used to happen with mincemeat is when people made mincemeat, it used to sometimes ferment in the larder and bubble up and do all sorts of peculiar things. So the way round this is, when you've given that a really good thorough mixing, cover it with a cloth, leave it overnight so that it has a chance to absorb all the flavours. And then you put it in a very low oven, gas mark 1/4, or the equivalents, and you just let it melt. The suet, rather, should melt in that for about 3 hours. Now, when it comes out of the oven, I've got one that's been out for an hour or so here. When it comes out of the oven, you'll see what's happened. All the suet has melted, and it looks sort of quite fatty at the moment. But what will happen is that will coagulate and coat all the ingredients, sealing in their juices so that no juices escape and no fermentation happens. So that's mincemeat. When it's ready, you let it cool when it comes out of the oven. This is still a bit warm, so I'm not going to do it. But when it's completely cold, you add 6 tablespoons of brandy. Gives it a nice Christmas flavour. And then you pack it into jars, and you put on the top of the jar a little wax disc like this. Tie it down with double greaseproof, or you can use a lid if you've got a lid to the jar. And if you want to give the mincemeat as a Christmas present, then put a little hat made out of pretty material and tie a bow.